The title of this little charming story is She Saw Us as Human Beings. What's the story behind this? Years ago, the Anna Institute of Management in Adiyar, Chennai was interested in organizing some training programs for the drivers and conductors of a big major bus company. So the program director and I were talking about this on how to plan a program for them. It was for the Pallavan Transport Company, which covered the whole city of Chennai then. Chennai was then called Madras. Pallavan had about 2,000 buses, which means they had about 8,000 drivers and conductors. Now, these men do a very monotonous, boring work. Plus, the public takes them for granted. Nobody seems to appreciate their work. In fact, before we could plan this, one of their managers told us this particular episode. He said, most of our 8,000 drivers and conductors went to see a particular Tamil movie. We asked them why. They said the reason is simple. In that movie, there's a young woman going to get married. And she comes to this driver and conductor of a particular bus and tells them, here's my invitation for my wedding. Please come, I want you to attend my wedding. They were surprised. They didn't know this young woman. In fact, they knew that families invite only other family members or close friends for a wedding. Why were they being invited? She said, as a student, I used to catch this bus every day. So I have met both of you many times. So please, I want you to attend my wedding. This moved the drivers and conductor. They said, here's a human being that sees us as human beings and not just as faceless drivers and conductors. Here's another example of this. One day, in a high-rise apartment in Bombay, where lots of people took the lift every day. One of the men who would take this lift every morning was just about a minute late, so he was running to catch the lift. So as he was running towards the lift attendant said, for this gentleman, I am willing to wait any day. And he turned to the group and said, all of you take the lift every day. He is the only one who tells me thank you. Do you thank the lift attendant, the bearer, the driver, the nurse? There was a group of philosophers in France called personalists. They would speak of contemporary society where often people are reduced to numbers, just a unit of production in a factory where individually they didn't count. So these philosophers would say there are two ways of relating. I can relate to you in an I-thou way or in an I-it way. What does that mean? It means this. Either we can treat each other as human beings. That means whatever your degree, your profession, your education or lack of it, you are a human being like me, with feelings, dreams, hopes, families. Do I treat you as a human being, or do I treat you as an I-it, something I make use of? I get the service done and move on. What your feelings are, that doesn't interest me. How much better society would be if we learn to treat each other as human beings. So before being professors or bishops or drivers or tea vendors, before being nurses or cooks or whatever, everyone is a human being and needs to be treated as a human being.